Now that the ground has warmed up, it's the perfect time to add more mulch to your flower beds. It's also the opportune time to add preventative weed control. Here to show us the best approach is Doug Maurer, president of Brian Kyle's Landscapes of Distinction.
Okay, as we were getting set to do this, Tracy asked me a question, and she asked about when I plant these plants, do I have to sort out and separate all these roots? This plant is not really pot-bound yet. A pot-bound plant would be solid roots just wrapped all the way around. If that was the case, you'd want to take maybe your fingernail or your finger, slice down through here, maybe a knife if they're really that thick, and just kind of break through, just cut the root, because where you cut it, it will send out a new offshoot once it's in the ground there, and will do just fine. So, little question about pot-bound plants, but that was a good thing to remind me about there, Trace. Now, earlier in the year we edged out this bed, got it ready. We haven't mulched it yet. The advantage of that is if I had perennials growing in here, they wouldn't even have been growing at the time we might have been trying to mulch or do whatever. We could be walking on them, breaking the crowns off, covering them up with mulch, things that you probably don't really want to do. But now everything's begun to emerge, the soil's warmed up, now is a great time to mulch. Now I had just planted these plants, and so what we want to put down first is a weed preventer. Now the product I have is something that we buy. It's a little bit more potent, but you can buy at the local store. Preen, this one happens to be called Snapshot, but you can buy Preen. It's very recognizable in a lot of garden centers. Looks very similar, same color. Just sprinkle it around like a little salt and pepper on your mashed potatoes. Oftentimes the bag will even have a little diagram as to how thickly concentrated it should be on the soil. Once you get that spread around, the next thing you want to do is work on the mulch. Now here, what we want to do is spread an even layer of mulch. We don't want it to be real thick. 1 to 2 inches is fine. And the other thing we don't want to do is put it right up against the stem of this plant. We want this plant, the stem, to be able to breathe so we don't cause problems down the road with poor air circulation, disease, fungus, whatever coming in here. But we do want to put down a nice layer of mulch so it retains the moisture in this soil. So what we would do, gently pick up the plant, spread some mulch around. Again, try to avoid placing it right up against the stem. Oh, a little tiny bit, no big deal, but don't get it 3-4 inches thick. I've seen some people go in and mulch a tree or a shrub, and they got that mulch 6 inches high up on that tree or a shrub. You'll actually get roots that will come through the stem of that plant and into the mulch. That is not a good thing. We want our roots to be down in this soil, searching for that July and August moisture that's going to be deep in the soil. We don't want them up in the mulch area here where 2 minutes after it rains, it's going to dry out. So that would be your tip. 1 to 2 inches of mulch. Watch the base of the plants. Don't jam too much up around there. Try to keep a little airspace in there and a nice even layer of mulch.
This has been part of the Brian Kyle's Landscapes of Distinction How-To series. To learn more, be sure to visit www.briankyles.com, where you'll have access to myriad resources, including our blog, which houses this series.